What should we expect from the vendors? Cool. Uh, More the merrier, as they say, entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. Likewise, we should always, an architect aspires samples, 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 samples. Always samples, sample, 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 sample. And that's the only thing that we desire from the vendors, don't we? Yes. But yeah, besides samples, how do you do a quick product scrutiny or the due diligence of a particular uh, product or a brand? What are the things that you need to check? Okay, ask the vendor, what is the USP of your product? What are the physical properties, typical properties of your product? What are the sizes, and what are the restrictions in sizes, basically? This may sound very basic, what I'm going to tell you today, but it is very important to know from a vendor, because knowing the sizes do not only help us make a ready reckoner, but will give us, for us, the interpretation of the availability of a typical product size, will give us a guideline to frame our grid structure while modulating that product into multiples. Suppose we are creating a facade, and with Indian stones, suppose we want to do the facades, but we many a few of I mean few of us know that the Indian stones have a restrictions in size, and then we design the facade with, like, big 4 by 2 formats, or say suppose 6 by 8 by 4 formats and stuff like that, but we do not even realize that this stone size is not available going to be available. Some being the sandstone, they are very soft, we cannot cut it. And then there are some which are only available in 2 by 1 sizes, or maximum 2 by 2 sizes, and that's where then we, despite of the technology being prevalent to hold the weight of the stones, we are not able to procure that kind of thing. And some, when we have, especially, if we have carved the stones or done some kind of facade designing, and then, so I'm just giving you an instance, basically. So stone kind of, these are like, small things, we don't even care, like, okay, this is a stone, fine, it could be any of the other slab. But it's a good practice to ask a vendor, what are the minimum and what are the maximum sizes possible. Not the typical sizes, what are the minimum and maximum, especially the thickness of the product. The shapes and sizes are one thing, but thickness of the product will define the substrate, will define the application anchoring methodologies, and the laying methodologies of that particular surface product. So knowing the physical properties may sound, it's a very basic thing, everybody knows that a stone is a stone, what is so big deal about it? But it's very important, be it a stone, be it a tile, the thickness of the product while laying it, and while ensuring the execution, how does it marry the other junction, uh, other material, how, what are the junction details, what could be the junctional accessories, to define all of that, and to give a smooth workable design. It is very essential to know that what are the properties, and in terms of limitations of the product, what are the limitations of that product in terms of sizes, in terms of shades, in terms of thicknesses, and in terms of fixing it, fixing details. Like, say suppose, whilst we are talking about boards, we all know that MDF is very good and very friendly for, you know carving, or for shaping different things, and it is very good for duco painting, then the ply. But what is the major flaw with the MDF is, basically, you cannot screw it. You cannot screw it. It has a very less uh, holding capacity for the screws. I mean, the tightness that we desire to make it as a sturdy product, MDF cannot be a sturdy product as how the ply is. So, how versatile it is in terms of taking the typical fixing methodologies. I repeat, how versatile the product is in terms of taking the typical fixing methodologies is something that we need to find out from the vendor or the manufacturer right then and there, because only the product doesn't work for us. We are uh, making a product into a form, into a desired form, especially a designer form, because we are designers, we are architects, we are not using, and our expertise will be valued only if we deliver a product or a um, form which is non-typical, a little bit out of the box or a bespoke thing. And when can a product turn into a bespoke item? It can only be turned when it is well executed with the required substrate and in the right fashion and with the right kind of methodology, plus why it is well um, uh, designed in terms of finishings also. So it is very important that uh, how user friendly the application of the product is, and how is it how conservative is the product to adapt to the fixing technologies, typical technologies, okay, which is prevalent. And if there are any specialized technologies or the tools which are required for the fixing of that product, what are they? So this is something that we have to find out from the vendor. These are the we'll say the additional things. This will not be there in his catalogs. So this is something that which we have to know from a vendor, that he may sometimes not know also, and he will say that I will call in my technical director to answer your questions. But you should always think of a product in a 3D form and not in just a 2D surface. So that is something we need to know. The second thing we would want to assure and comfort our client is always the good serviceability. Serviceability in terms of the product servicing centers, how well the product is available in the market. Is it having a presence in terms of the service centers across pan India? At least because today your client is in Mumbai, tomorrow your client can be in Kolkata, it can be in Bangalore. So some products, typically the distribution centers and the service centers for some products, for even I'm talking about big manufacturers, okay, who are like more than 500 2000 crore facilities, they also have a limited distribution network, or rather not limited, I would say they are very profound in particular west zone or say south zone. It could be a very renowned number one brand, but depending upon where their factory is or where their reach is, they are having their preferences in terms of having their presence in terms of zones, or you could call it preferences or could be their limitations whatsoever. They have a strategic approach to develop and have some zones first, and then they go slowly while marketing, spreading their marketing wings across. They go slowly. So you must know that where are the core zones of this product manufacturers, which are those core zones where they are well available, where they are well accepted and approachable, so then accordingly you should prescribe that product in that particular um, zone of I mean that particular project's zone, wherever your project is. So if your project and the client is from Chennai, then you should prescribe products which are well easily available in and around South India, and not something which is very nice but it is available, because that will come as an additional cost unless it is a very must and a wow thing, and it's you are using it very sparingly as a bespoke or a featured element or a product, and the client is affording that kind of budgets. Um, so that is one thing we should know, and keep gathering and asking the sample catalogs, not just the 2D catalogs. Look and feel the texture of the product, the how it performs well. You should as soon as you meet up the vendor, you should be able to feel the surface. How is it? Like scratch it with a nail, or don't harm it, of course, but you should You should feel the project. I mean, that's how it should be. Like, oh, material has come. Let me explore the materiality. Let me explore the. I do it. I definitely, would love to first feel the product with my hand and feel what is the quality. Some products are really warm. Some are really cool. Some could be like really soothing to, some can. So, and the first vibe that you get from the material is the right kind of application that you must use it to explore maximum into your project, and that is the kind of feel, because it's just not, it's very subtle, but that is a thing that is, transmitted from the product, and that is building up the aura of the built environment. So it's very important to feel the product, how as an architect we feel the space. It is important to feel the materials also, what we are using, I feel. So that are those are my two bits on the selection of the material.